Good morning, Impression Hall. We're coming to you live on this fourth day of August. It is a Monday once again, bringing you Morning Matters. Because your mornings matters, get to the stories that matter today. The MMDA plans to construct underground water detention tanks across Metro Manila, modeled after those in Taguig's Bonifacio Global City. Some of the target areas are Aguinaldo's Golf Course in Quezon City, Liwasang Bonifacio, and the UST Open Field in Manila. A viral video has been circulating that allegedly shows the towing of a Philippine ship by China's Coast Guard. The Philippine military is branding the incident as deliberate disinformation. And businessman Atong Ang welcomed the filing of charges against him in connection with the missing Sabongeros case. He said he is ready to face accusations in court and maintained his innocence. Welcome to our program, Morning Matters, where we talk about issues you need to know for the rest of your day. Now, first on the agenda, a Philippine Coast Guard aircraft issued a radio challenge to a Chinese research vessel operating near the waters off Cagayan on August 2. PCG Commandant Admiral Ronnie Hill Gavan ordered the patrol after the Chinese ship Shangyang Hong 05 was detected about 37 nautical miles off Santa Ana, Cagayan. The vessel was later spotted just 14.92 nautical miles from Babuyan Island and did not respond to the Coast Guard's radio challenge. According to the PCG, the ship first entered the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ, on June 7, exited on June 9, and returned on July 31. It reportedly conducted nearly 22 days of marine research near Guam before heading back to Philippine waters. As of Sunday morning, the Chinese vessel was tracked about 86 nautical miles off Calayan Island, Cagayan. Shangyang Hong 05 is a former cargo vessel repurposed for marine scientific research and is believed to support operations of China's People's Liberation Army Navy. The Armed Forces of the Philippines is calling out what it describes as deliberate disinformation after a video surfaced online allegedly showing a Philippine ship being towed by China's Coast Guard near Ayungin Shoal. Here is the full story.
According to the South China Morning Post article published Friday, the China Coast Guard towed a Philippine ship following a fresh maritime clash. The article included a screenshot from the video in question, but did not specify when the incident occurred. According to the report, the footage was released by Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. It showed a 6-minute standoff between Chinese and Philippine ships at the Second Thomas Shoal, known in the Philippines as Ayungin Shoal. The Chinese Coast Guard claimed the incident ended with an infringing vessel being towed away. That video has since gone viral online. According to the Department of National Defense, they have not received any official report about the incident.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Thank you.
Kailan lang po?
Kahapon lang. Nasa ano po?
Hindi pa.
June 17 daw po yung incident. Pero
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa. Hindi pa. Baka fake news na naman nila yan. Sinabi ko na nga, likas na...
Ano po ang tanong dito sa report na ito?
Tignan muna natin kung totoo hindi bago tayo magplaplano.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines strongly denied the report, calling it fake news. They warned against the deliberate spread of false information about operations in the West Philippine Sea. The AFP insists the viral video is misleading. They said the incident it shows happened before and was recycled to appear like a recent event. They accuse parties of using deception tactics to mislead the public, distort facts, and undermine the country's assertion of its sovereign rights and jurisdiction.
President Bongbong Marcos warned that he is ready to cut ties with government officials who fail to serve Filipinos effectively. In a teaser for the upcoming episode of his BBM podcast, Episode 3, Marcos said he would no longer tolerate officials contributing to the people's suffering. He emphasized that even political allies are not exempt from accountability. The statement follows Marcos's order for a thorough probe into government agencies flagged for poor service in the State of the Nation address on July 28.
Dinadaanan na hirap na dinadanas ng ating mga kababayan. They have to be told who is responsible and somebody has to answer for their suffering. Sorry na lang. Hindi na kita kaalyado kung ganyan ang ginagawa mo. Ayaw na kitang kaalyado.
Senator Erwin Tulfo is urging the government to scrap the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program or 4Ps. Instead, Tulfo wants beneficiaries to be provided with livelihood capital. He said giving them funds to start small businesses is more sustainable and empowering than just giving monthly cash aid. He adds that low-wage earners who don't qualify for 4Ps also deserve support. The senator plans to bring up the proposal in a meeting with President Marcos and DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian. Coming right up, Pag-asa is now monitoring a new low-pressure area off eastern Visayas. The LPA has no direct impact yet, but Habagat will continue to bring isolated rains over extreme northern Luzon. And the government plans to build water detention tanks in different areas of Metro Manila to mitigate flooding. Let's discuss this later on with urban planner and architect Dinky and Sidel. All that and more when Morning Matters returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning, I'm Gretchen O, and here on Morning Matters, we talk about the most pressing issues and give you the context behind the headlines. Our story now is related to the big story we are about to discuss. So let's take a look at the weather. Pag-asa is monitoring a new low-pressure area. It was spotted 1,445 kilometers off eastern Visayas outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Its chance of developing into a tropical depression in the next 24 hours remains low. The LPA has no direct impact yet on any part of the country. Habagat, however, will continue to trigger isolated rains over Batanes and Babuyan Islands. The rest of the country are now experiencing a monsoon break, so fair weather is expected. President Bongbong Marcos said flood control projects will not be effective if esteros or other waterways remain clogged with trash and water hyacinths. Here is the report.
President Bongbong Marcos has launched a flood mitigation effort focused on cleaning Metro Manila's esteros to help ease flooding during the rainy season. The initiative, dubbed the Bayanihan sa Estero program, targets the cleanup of 23 esteros across the metro. During the program launch at Bully Creek in Pasig City, the president stressed that even the best flood control projects would be useless if waterways remain clogged with trash or water hyacinths.
Kahit magandang-maganda na lahat ng flood control project natin, kapag ganito pa rin ang ating estero, wala rin, mababaha pa rin tayo.
As part of the broader effort, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority will build underground water detention tanks, similar to those in Bonifacio Global City in Taguig, in various parts of Metro Manila. According to MMDA Chairman Romando Artes, Camp Aguinaldo's golf course in Quezon City will be one of the first construction sites, with work expected to begin this year. The tank will cover 1,200 square meters and hold up to 37,200 cubic meters of water, equivalent to 15 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The MMDA is also coordinating with the NCCA and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno to build similar tanks in Liwasang Bonifacio, Raha Sulaiman Park, and Remedios Park.
Marami pa pong ibino-volunteer like veterans, Ninoy Aquino Wildlife, na pwede po nating lagyan ng detention pond kung saan sasaluhin muna natin yung tubig, temporary i-store.
The open field at the University of Santo Tomas in España is also being considered for the project. According to DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan, the proposal will be brought up to the next cabinet meeting with the President.
And to give us insights on these developments, we are joined this morning by urban planner and architect Dinky Einsidel. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Matters.
Morning.
Okay, so you were commissioner for planning of the Metro Manila Commission, which is now the MMDA.
That's correct.
During the Marcos administration.
That's correct.
With Imelda Marcos as governor.
Yes.
Right? And you are also part of the Human Settlements Development Corporation, which is now the Department of Housing and Settlements and Urban Development.
Yes.
You've had work also in the private sector with AIM and also pati na rin sa UN Habitat.
That's right.
So you know a lot for sure. I mean, like, you've been part of the urban planning of Metro Manila itself. I'm very, very interested to hear your insights, seeing what you're seeing now. Why is it not working? I mean, let's center in on flood control, which has been the topic for the past weeks.
Well, the continuing rapid population growth of Metro Manila and the rapid economic development of the area appears to be overwhelming the capacity of government to respond to this, to the increasing needs for more efficient, more effective flood control. With population growth, comes a lot of new housing developments, new buildings, new shopping malls,
New condominiums.
and in the process, the open space of Metro Manila gets less and less. So there's not enough open space to absorb the rainwater that falls. And so this are conducted through your drainage system that flows into the lowest areas in Metro Manila and causes the floods. So the present flood control system gets overwhelmed by the volume of rainfall because of climate change. So we're getting more frequent typhoons, we're getting heavier rainfall, larger volumes of rainfall. And coupled with this rapid urbanization, the government is overwhelmed. It just does not respond as quickly as it should. Palagi tayo naghahabol. We are never in front of the problem. That's the major reason.
I wonder, because when we talk to government officials now, parang it seems they don't have a lot of wiggle room, right? Because of the congestion of Metro Manila. But during your time, when you were Commissioner for Planning of the Metro Manila Commission, I wonder how much space did Metro Manila have back then to have a real good urban development plan?
Well, there was not that much space either, even at that time. When the Spaniards occupied the Philippines, and Metro Manila, or Manila in particular, there were a lot of esteros. Okay, those esteros are gone. They've been covered up and built upon, and so those were parts of the esteros are part of the overall metropolitan drainage system. And they've disappeared, and so that has contributed to the problem. So the World Health Organization prescribes that there should be 9 square meters per person of open space. Okay, we don't in Metro Manila. We don't even have 1%. So it's just not enough space. We had recommended before the creation of what are now popularly referred to as detention ponds. Before we use the term polders, Polders, which is a Dutch term for detention ponds. The problem was that much of our land is privately owned. So government needs to buy the land to create those ponds. And the government did not have the money to buy.
But why not use government-owned land? Because we do have several under the Department of Housing and Settlements, right? Parang makikita mo rin maraming closed off for the DSUD na parang apparently they are also holding on to for appreciation of value.
Well,
so why not those properties instead? Or mga cities, LGU properties.
Hindi kasi binibigyan ng pansin yung flooding problem. Ang flooding kasi is it crosses boundaries. It crosses jurisdictional boundaries. And that's why the Metro Manila government was created to coordinate the actions of the individual 17 LGUs, because they cannot solve the problem independent of each other. Kasi tumatawid ng boundary yung baha, tumatawid ng boundary yung pollution, yung traffic, etc. No? It's very hard to coordinate when you have 17 superstar mayors who are kind of, have this mindset that their first primary and full-time responsibility is to their constituents, not to a metropolitan-wide area. Secondary lang yun, saka part-time.
So pag kunwari nagkaroon ng construction, maraming mapeperwisyo, of course, their popularity ratings would suffer.
That's right. Now, yung
as an
problema
immediate
nga nung acquisition of areas to create the detention ponds requires government to buy or to expropriate the land. The thing is, not too many of these politicians want to expropriate or use the power of eminent domain kasi hindi sila mananalo sa susunod na eleksyon. So, para sige, ganyan na lang, i-require na lang natin yung easement sa tagiliran ng rivers. 3 meters dito, 3 meters dito. But, Metro Manila is built on a floodplain. It requires a much wider open space than just 3 meters on each side of the Pasig River. So, kulang na kulang yung...
Kumbaga parang structures were not supposed to be built in the first place around these esteros or rivers.
Yes.
Yung po yung naging problema. No? Which leads us to what they're planning to do now, which is to build the underground water detention tanks. Is it finally we are getting to it? And what do you think about where we can build these? Because they're now proposing for it to be done under Liwasang Bonifacio, under Raha Sulaiman, under Remedios Circle, and University of Santo Tomas.
Yes.
Areas in Manila
Yes.
that you have become monuments. So
Yes.
is it wise? I mean, to look into that for every city, and maybe we can build under that.
Well, if you take a look at the old maps of Manila, yung mga areas na identify, yan ang dating esteros na tinambakan.
Ito pong sinabi ko po
Yung
sa
mga
inyo.
yan. Kasi yung mga kalye, bumababa. Doon sa pinakamababa, dati may estero doon. Doon tumatawid yung kalye. So ang nangyari, tinakpan yung estero, nilagyan lang ng concrete culvert para mag-flow from the left to the right. Okay? Pero with the kind of volume of rainfall that we're getting because of climate change, plus the garbage that clogs that culvert, yun yung bumaba.
Sa taas na, imbis na sa
Nago-
ilalim.
Hindi, instead sa ilalim, umaapaw yung tubig sa ibabaw. And so ngayon, they realized na yun ang dapat lagyan ng underground cistern.
Kasi
Which
doon naman
solves the
dumadaan.
problem, which will solve the problem dun sa mga low-lying areas na yun. So this was a 2016 study that was done, and it recommended those areas.
Those detention tanks
Yes,
for water.
Yes.
How about golf courses and turning them into water detention tanks?
Yes, that can also be done. That can also be done, yeah. We do have a lot of golf courses in Metro Manila. Makakatulong yan. Makakatulong.
But is it going to be very expensive work to do that, to dig under the ground? And because in Burgos Circle in Fort Bonifacio, it is actually a 5-story structure underneath,
That's correct.
right?
That's correct.
How much would it cost?
Well,
To construct these.
it will not cost as much as a river wall or a big dike. Halos pareho lang ang magiging cost niyan. So,
Talaga ho?
ginagawa naman ng DPWH. May budget naman sila for that. So, it's not going to be that much bigger than what has already been allocated. It's a matter of really...
Because you're gonna have to dig through the ground, right, to create that
Yes.
gaping hole,
Yes.
and then solidify it with steel.
With concrete.
Concrete
So
and
you're
steel.
like building an underground swimming pool. Okay. If you've gone around and you've seen how high the river walls are, these are huge, massive structures and dikes, di ba? But every so often, they get overwhelmed by the floods and they get destroyed. Itong nasa underground, hihigop lang yan ng tubig baha. It will not be subjected to the kind of pressure
There's more
that
longevity in those projects.
Yes, so it has a longer shelf life than the river dikes and river walls that DPWH
So do you think this will
builds.
solve the problems of Metro Manila,
It
these
will
underwater detention tanks?
It will help solve the problem, particularly in the low-lying areas where there used to be esteros and creeks.
So which is Manila?
Manila, you have parts of Quezon City, you have parts of San Juan. There are, of course, the Malabon, Navotas, Valenzuela areas which are really much lower. So yung mga lugar na yun, makakatulong talaga.
Okay. What is the Netherlands doing so well? Because they're also part of, they're below sea level, right? Their land, and then they've done the dam technology very well. Their dikes also. And what have they done differently?
Well, they have all of these years of experience of living below sea level. And so they've really developed the science of living with floods. But they also have the money to build all of this infrastructure. They don't have any choice because of the fact that they're lower than sea level. So they have to rely on engineering solutions.
They've actually reclaimed land, parcels of land, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
how come here in the Philippines? I mean, is it? I mean, how do we perceive reclamation projects, particularly, for example, in Manila, right? What they're doing there with the parang extension for the malls and the entertainment complex.
Well,
Is it to be frowned upon? I mean, taking a look at Bulacan also, there's land being reclaimed for an airport. What are your thoughts on that?
the reclamation projects are being justified by the developers on the basis of the need for urban expansion of urban land because of the increasing population and the need for more jobs, more housing,
Correct.
etc. Okay. Now, the thing is, reclamation per se is environmentally intrusive. Okay, it's allowed in a lot of other countries, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, etc. But they do a lot of research on where it has the least environmental damage. Dito sa atin, parang walang ganun. Parang dito, extend tayo dito. Sabi ng Pasay, yung Manila ginawa, tayo rin. Sabi ng Parañaque, kami rin. Sabi ng Las Piñas, kami rin. You know, gaya-gaya without analyzing ano yung cumulative effect. Because all of this are in the same ecosystem of Manila Bay. And we have a weak environmental impact assessment system. It treats reclamation projects on a per project basis. So let's say Pasay is going to propose. So i-require environmental impact assessment. Gagawa ng assessment yung project lang na yun. Manila has one. Manila will do an assessment. Yun lang project na yun. Navotas, etc. So individual.
So it's too fragmented.
It's too fragmented, but they're all in the same ecosystem. So the cumulative effect is not looked upon or not assessed.
And who is supposed to have oversight over the
Well,
national impact
It's
of
DENR.
these projects? DENR talaga is the one who's supposed to hold the line.
Yes, pero magulo kasi yung sistema natin sa reclamation. There is the Philippine Reclamation Authority. Okay, you have DENR, and supposedly NEDA is also supposed to come into the picture and say, kailangan ba talaga yung reclamation na yan o hindi? No. Then of course, DSUD is also there, which is in charge of land use and water use. So fragmented yung sistema eh. Nobody's looking at it. There was one time, ipinasa sa Office of the President para overview daw. Hindi, wala rin eh. Di ba? Kasi, well, you know how it is when it's a committee that looks into things, then nothing gets really
And apart from
done.
that, we also don't have a flood control master plan. Marami tayong mga plano pero nakapalibot siya doon sa mga river system natin. What has led to this? I mean, you've had extensive experience in government. Bakit kaya napaka-fragmented? I mean, who do you think would be in the best position to centralize all of those plans and to actually have a firm hand without, of course, yung conflict of interest?
Well, in the case of Metro Manila, you do have the MMDA, okay? If you take a look at the law that created the MMDA, defined on kung ano yung jurisdiction, ano yung responsibilities ng MMDA. And much of that is really coordinating the actions of the 17 local governments as well as the national government agencies that do projects within Metro Manila. Okay. The problem, yun nga yung mga mayors get elected by their constituencies in their respective cities. So, ang full-time and primary responsibility nila is to their constituency. Yung metro-wide is secondary and part-time. So, that's already a weakness in the system. But, if they agree on a common direction, then it should work, okay? The other half of the problem is that there are many national government agencies that are based in Metro Manila, in fact, most of them are, and do projects in Metro Manila. And they don't particularly like a lower level agency like MMDA telling them what to do. So when the national agencies, DENR, DPWH, DOTR, etc. Meron silang mga regional offices. They have a regional office for the national
So it becomes a
capital.
power struggle
It
altogether.
becomes a power struggle. And so it's very difficult for the MMDA to actually control what the national
So what if
government
that
agency...
power is taken away from them and just given to a national agency?
Well,
Would that make things...
it was given to MMDA already through the law that created MMDA.
And if it's not working, then there's a reason
Well,
to change it.
yeah, I think there's a need to revisit that law and take a look at it. Because there were 7 functions that were defined for MMDA or Metro Manila. And the major infrastructure agencies are supposed to be part of the Metro Manila governing body. But they don't attend those meetings. You know? And in fact, the mayors also send representatives to those meetings. So parang kulang yung sistema.
We only get the sense of alarm every time there are typhoons, right? Oh. Pero I mean, looking back, kayo po, nakikita po ninyo, I mean, yung what has happened to Metro Manila and seeing what was on the desk, on the table then when you were commissioner for planning, parang ano po yung mga masasabi niyong, ay sayang, ba't naging ganito? Dati hindi naman ganyan. Pag nakikita ninyo, mali ito. Ano,
Well, actually...
do you have those moments?
Actually, I lasted in government because of my high frustration tolerance level. Kasi even during the time of the MMC, it was very frustrating na hindi maitulak yung kabuuan nung dapat na gawin. Ano? Masyadong fragmented, masyadong kanya-kanya. And I was hoping...
Do you think that's the main problem?
I think that's the main problem. I think that's the main problem, is that it's too fragmented. But
We can't get anything done.
But now, I see a glimmer of hope. I mean, when I see the younger mayors like Vico Soto, Joy Belmonte, and you know, who are now kind of pushing things forward, and they talk among themselves also and agree on certain things that they want to pursue in cooperation with each other. It
There's
gives me
hope. There's hope.
gives me hope that the younger generation mayors are
more open-minded
That's right.
to each other
That's
and
right.
working
That's right.
together. And this book, actually, as you mentioned before this interview, is its audience are the
Are
mayors.
yes, that's
What
correct.
can we find here? And it is entitled "Making Our Cities Work."
Yes, well, I wrote this based on my experience and frustrations. So the audience is really the mayors. And I had 3 mayors review this. Jerry Treñas of Iloilo, Mel Sarmiento, formerly DILG Secretary, and also former DILG Secretary Ben Hurabalos. So they've endorsed this, and I thought I'd give you a copy. So maybe, help disseminate to our LGUs.
As a bicycle rider, I'm very much interested in urban planning.
Yes.
Although I have low frustration tolerance, unlike you. Okay, so where can we get a copy of this if our audience wants to watch?
Yeah, well, it has a what do you call that? A code in the back that that they can scan, and I think it's via Chrome.
Via Chrome, yes,
Yeah,
Creative
via Chrome,
Communication
yeah,
Services.
yeah.
Okay. Maraming salamat po for your insights today and helping us understand what has gone wrong with Metro Manila and what could go right. Maraming salamat. We have urban planner and architect Dinky Einsedel.
Yes, that's correct.
Don't go away. More matters to discuss after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. Nearly half of Filipino families still consider themselves poor. That's according to the latest survey conducted by the social weather stations. The survey conducted from June 25 to 29 showed that 49% of respondents, equivalent to approximately 13.7 million families, identify themselves as poor. This marks a slight decline from 50% or 14.1 million families in April. Another 10% said they were borderline poor, while 41% said they were not poor. By region, self-rated poverty was highest in Mindanao at 69%, followed by the Visayas at 60%, Balanced Luzon at 38%, and Metro Manila at 36%. Businessman Atong Ang welcomed the filing of charges against him in connection with the case of missing sabongeros. Through his lawyer, Ang said he is ready to face the accusations in court and maintained his innocence, describing the testimony of whistleblower Julie Patidongan as flawed, self-serving, and unsubstantiated. He accused Patidongan of running a criminal network involving illegal gambling, kidnapping, and extortion. Ang claimed Patidongan is shifting the blame to avoid prosecution and warned the public not to be misled, calling him a master manipulator who embedded himself among the victims. Now, talking about public order, from high-risk police operations to public scrutiny, the name Colonel Hansel Marantan has long stirred public debate. Now his story takes center stage not in a courtroom or a headline, but on screen. And Colonel Marantan joins us now to discuss his docu-film Sa Likod ng Tsapa. Welcome to Morning Matters, Colonel.
Good morning, Miss Gretchen, and it's really morning that matters now.
Ang ganda po nun. Kayo lang po nagsabi nun. Oh. Okay, unang-una ho, bago natin puntahan ang inyong pelikula, I just wanted to get your thoughts because you have headed a lot of police operations
Yes,
already. At naririnig niyo po itong missing sabongeros case. Una-una, kayo po ba ay involved dito? Tinawag na po ba ang inyong tulong, ang serbisyo ninyo?
No, I'm not involved.
Oo, pero kung kayo po ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon, saan po kayo magsisimula?
Maybe we start with counterintelligence. Those people who were involved and now involved, titignan ko yung lifestyle nila and agency checks maybe.
Pero paano kaya masasarado yung kaso if high-profile people are involved? Pag siyempre, alam po natin na hindi rin po madali banggain yan.
Yes, we have to be decisive and we have to be aggressive now, just like what we did in the previous operations. Tama na nandyan si General Torre. Alam niya ang gagawin niya dyan.
Walang takot.
Walang takot yan.
No? Pero, I mean, ano kaya ang kailangan para to seal the deal? I mean, kasi ngayon, narinig po natin, puro testimonial evidence yung nakikita natin. Yung sa Taal, meron sila nahanap, pero nahanap nila bungo na hindi naman makuha yung DNA pa. Ano kaya yung, parang tingin ninyo, kasi malalaman nyo yun, parang eto na, may kaso na kami, sigurado na mahuhuli na natin yan dito.
May makukuha sila dyan na mga magte-testify and give them the goods for that case.
Confident po kayo?
Mag-ano pa sila, mag-research pa sila.
Konti pa?
Yes.
Marami pa.
Welcome, marami pa yan. Marami pa ho yan.
Oo. Okay. Kayo po ay Davao City Police Office Chief during the time of the Kibuloy manhunt. Nandun po ako nung panahon na yon at nandun din kayo. Kayo
Yes,
po
I
ay
was.
head ng City Police Office.
Yes, I was the ground commander.
Oo, pero ang alam ko po ay malaki pong role nyo dito sa pag-capture kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Ano po yung exactly? I mean, what did you do on ground?
Sa role, pare-pares lang ho kami ng role. Ang direct boss namin at that time, si General Torre. Reporting kami lahat kay Chief PNP and Sec Benhar. Ako ay, specifically, ang naging role ko dyan ay, I did the CI, counterintelligence. I report mga goods, mga makukuha kong information to General Torre right away.
Pero 16 days po yun ng paghahanap.
Yes, it took us 16 days. Medyo mahirap kasi adaming mga obstructions. May mga Senate inquiries, adaming mga nagda-divert ng mga information. At, well, nakita mo naman how aggressive they were, no? Yung mga members of the KOJC. Hindi makapag-imbestiga ng tama, hindi makapasok. So, we have to resort to other informants like the pastoral. Yeah. May mga nakuha kaming pastoral na spill ng information. So, we pick up from there, apart from the technical capabilities na pinasok ni General Torre.
Paano niyo po natuntun? Ano po yung what gave it away, yung location po nila?
Mayroon nga nagbigay na informant.
Oo.
Yung mga alleged victims of Kibuloy, we call them members of the pastoral of the innermost circle. Sila na yung nag-guide sa amin. Nagsabi,
kung nasaan.
Nandyan.
Oo. Pero totoo po ba na may mga tunnel yun na kaya nilang umikot-ikot? O talagang dun sila sa mismong area?
Mayroong building doon. They call that Bible Study Building. Maraming mga rooms yun. So, kung hindi accurate yung mga information mo, mawawala ka sa loob ng Bible Study Building.
Kasi malaki.
Malaki. And the compound is a 32-hectare lot. So, mahirap talaga. So, it took us maybe 16 days. Malapit na anniversary.
Oo nga, no? Oo. Tama ho ba na may, pagkain na dinadala doon?
Yes, meron. Nasusundan naman namin yon.
Oo. At paano sila pumapasok doon?
Hindi naman namin pinagbabawal yung pagpasok nila. In fact, practically, in percentage, maybe 70% they control the area. 30% lang sa PNP at that time.
Ano po itsura ng lugar? I mean, underground tunnel po yun sa ilalim ng...
May underground, may by floor yan, up to 4th floor yung area eh. Pero, what confuses the law enforcers ay maraming tao, naka-live feed sila lagi. Presumably, nanonood din si Kibuloy sa loob kung saan pupunta kami. So, makakapag iwas siya doon sa mga polis na
Oo, pero
lalapit.
ano pong itsura ng area? I mean, sa likod ba ng bookshelf? Nasa ilalim ba ng sopa?
Yeah. May room. The room of Kibuloy is centered ng mga many rooms ng mga pastorals.
So hindi siya underground?
At that time, hindi siya underground.
Kasi umiikot-ikot siya.
Umiikot-ikot
Kumbaga parang
siya.
meron po doon
Yes.
door na pwede siyang umikot-ikot.
Yeah.
Okay. Kasi it was a very, very sensitive situation.
Yeah, very, very sensitive situation talaga sa loob.
Lalong-lalo na nung nasa simbahan banda, na parang the PNP was insisting at that time na nandun siya. At yun na nga, parang nagkaroon ng nagkaroon ng usapan na parang sinasabi doon na na-pinpoint. Pero yun nga, parang napunta rin sa may Bible school.
Bible Study Building, yes.
I mean, I guess that was one of the successful operations under your watch.
Under the watch of General Torre.
And General Torre, of course.
And General Bill.
Okay, ito po ba ay makikita natin dito sa likod ng tsapa?
Hindi siya masyadong naidetalye. Bakit? Because of the question of sub judice, maybe in passing lang, na pinakita lang yung the success of it. Or how we became so aggressive and we became successful in the operation of the kind of Kibuloy.
Wait, kayo po ay naging kontrobersyal sa inyong pagiging pulis. Actually, dahil na rin sa maraming mga incident. Nung kayo po ay naupo bilang City Police Chief, nung araw na yun, parang hindi lang po kayo, tatlo po yung parang naging City Police Chief.
Yes.
Si Colonel Lito Patay, si Colonel Butil, tapos kayo po yung pangatlo.
Yes po.
Oo. Parang ito po ba yung ano po yung mapapanood natin dito sa pelikula? Ito po ba yung pinapaliwanag ninyo yung mga nangyari sa mga police operations na yan?
Yes, briefly, we're trying to explain it all, pero medyo mahirap kasi ang dami. So one operation contains a lot of plannings there. So halos lahat ng operations na ipinakita namin dyan, o lahat pala, is covered with case operational plan. Sagutin ko lang bakit naging controversial yung mga operations ko. Kasi from the start, controversial naman ho yung ibinibigay nilang project sa akin. Like for instance, yung Teves case, for instance, covered yan by case operational plan. From the start, it became a very controversial one. Kasi ano bang situation nung pumasok kami? There was this Negros Oriental Massacre, no? Namatay si Governor Ruel Digamo and 9 others. So 10 yung patay doon. So we dubbed that as massacre. And there was a portrayal of mastery ng pagpasok. Sabi nila mga scalawags, no, members of people na have gone through with trainings like special forces, scout rangers, marami ang trainings, but they are dismissed from the service. So makita mo natin na controversial talaga. So hindi ako nagdala ng controversies doon sa area. Controversial na yung issue nung pumasok po ako. So that's the situation. Even in the nakalagay din the Parañaque shootout, for instance, 2008. Bakit umabot kami ng firefights, 17 body counts and all that? Mayroon ng 21 bank robberies at that time na nailista kami. At ang to seal it all yung RCBC massacre sa Kabuyaw. May controversies na doon Pumasok kami to stop this sa Kuratong Balileng. And, well, nakasuhan kami, double murder. Nakulong yung ibang mga kasama ko. The Department of Justice, the person of Secretary De Leon, they filed the double murder case against us. So I did. Ganun na yung nangyari. Isa pa, yung Valle Verde. Naging controversial na naman yun. Kasi ang daming nawawalang Fortuner that time. 52 yata yung nailista kong nawawalang Fortuner. Among others. At very aggressive sila. Hostile masyado yung carjacking nila. Bumabaril sila. It's a in-band. So, pumasok yung Task Force Limbas. Ako yung head at the time. Umabot na hanggang SILG Secretary yung yung control. The late Angie Reyes, Angie Reyes. So pumasok kami, may controversy na talaga. So we were there to stop the hostilities there. It became controversial.
Yun nga, kayo na rin po nag-bring up, rightly or wrongly, I guess it is a debate also that you were linked to several cases of the use of excessive force.
Yes.
Particularly, ito pong, may isa pong shooting sa Ortigas noong 2005 na nakunan po kayo ng UNTV crew.
Yes,
na parang yung footage of your men opening the door of the vehicle and firing at the supposed carnappers.
Yes.
Para sa inyo po ba, ano po ba yung parang excessive force? Pag sinabi natin excessive force na, ano po ba nangyari doon? And, I mean, tell us all about your limits when it comes to
excessive force.
Applying force.
Yes. The excessive force ay very very shady pang i-define yan, but when you fire something that is no longer needed, that's already excessive one. But when it is needed, then firing it, halimbawa, put that on the example context, like meron akong ka-encounter, for instance, I fired the first shot, hindi siya na-incapacitate. I fired the second shot, hindi pa rin siya incapacitated. Third, fourth, hindi pa rin siya incapacitated. And then the final shot ko, na-incapacitated siya. Incapacitate means hindi na siya pwedeng mag-inflict ng injury sa akin or to other bystanders or what. So, you call that excessive force? Law enforcers fire their guns to incapacitate or neutralize them. The context of neutralize is to incapacitate them, which means they can no longer inflict injury sa mga bystanders or sa amin. So, at that time, that's the accusation na excessive use of force, but never been discussed in the merits of the case sa Regional Trial Court.
Is it just injure or is it neutralize?
What do you mean?
I-injure nyo lang po yung
Yes, we have to injure them. We have to incapacitate them.
Pero hindi naman po
dapat
tutuluyan.
Hindi papatayin. But in the course of incapacitating them, namatay sila.
Oo. Hindi pa sapat na
But that's not the intention.
babarilin mo lang yung kamay.
That's not the intention of the law enforcers to kill them. That's murder. Mali yun.
Okay. Pero doon sa shootout po sa Ortigas, na nakunan nga po ng UNTV, ano po nangyari doon?
Well, that's a covered by case operational plan. Matagal ang surveillance yan. It took us maybe 3 months na surveillance yan. Nakapasok ako sa nila. I think I was only 30-year-old at that time. So, of age, nakapasok ako sa nila, sa grupo nila. Nakita ko yung mga firearms nila. Nakita ko yung activities nila, like taking prohibited drugs and all that. Nalalaman ko rin yung mga mga conversations nila kasi part of that already. At may mall din ako sa loob nila. So very accurate yung namin, yung operations namin. So I wrote a case operational plan, inapprove yan ng Directorate for Intelligence, they give budget onto it. So it's a project good for implementation. Pumasok kami sa eksena, yung nakita ng UNTV, referring to the UNTV, right? Yung may binabaril akong
Yes.
So that's, well, to make one statement, that's the last nail of the coffin. Yan yung last na nakita yung insidente, but hindi nakita ng UNTV yung what transpired 30 minutes ago na there was firefight already na nangyari. Wounded na yung deputy ko, si Captain Belmonte at that time. So, nung pumasok kami, armed pa rin naman sila eh. Hindi naman dahil portrayed to be dead, hindi na sila hostile. So, we have a lot of experiences about that. So, nung pumasok ako sa eksena, nung nilapitan ko, kasi nobody wants to get closer, kasi ako lang yung medyo aggressive din ako na pumasok doon sa eksena. So, sa tingin ko, sa my appreciation ko, they were holding hand grenade or called that explosive. So, I fired shots doon sa mga kamay nila para to incapacitate them, not in the furtherance of dislodging the grenade. So, I fired on the arms. Mali naman yung sinasabi nila na binaril ko sila sa ulo. Mali yun. Even before na nag-firefight kami, tinamaan na sila sa ulo. Ang shot ko ay papunta sa mga kamay nila. Malayo yung UNTB. Well, tapos na ho yung kaso, no? I can discuss it now.
Yes.
It's no longer a sub judice issue, but the intention was to incapacitate them more. Kasi we know that they are very aggressive also. They were under the influence of prohibited drugs. We addressed them as not normal at that time, so they were monsters at that time. So, manghirap kasing makipaglaban sa mga taong with firearms, with assault rifles, and under the influence of prohibited drugs. Yan yung nangyari rin sa Parañaque. Yung mga kuratong bariling, bago sila engage sa mga banks and the RCBC massacre. It's not only crime against properties. And they take lives na talaga. Kukunin na nila yung buhay ng mga tao. I-examine ninyo yung RCBC massacre. Ang daming patay doon. They're not supposed to be dead. Kasi ang kailangan lang naman ng mga bank robbers ay kunin yung pera. But bakit may mga patay? So, that is because of the influence of prohibited drugs. They were not normal at that time.
Ito pong pinag-uusapan natin actually, this is also the subject of debate when it comes to the drug war of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Kayo naman po, nasan po kayo noon? Yung panahon ni Digong?
I was in jail.
Hindi kayo masyado.
They put me under incarceration because of the
Gaano katagal po
Atimonia.
kayo nasa?
Close to 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
Oo. Pero, hindi ba parang pwede, because of the gray areas around the use of excessive force, hindi ba parang may tendency rin to go the other way and have this abused by police officers? I mean, yun nga, no, parang si Digong na rin nagsabi noon.
Hindi, may ruling na po kasi yan sa Supreme Court, no? Kung ano yung issue mo, yung i-fire mo. Like for instance, ang issue ko ay isang M16 at saka isang pistol. Pag nag-engage ka sa akin, kung kahit naman 9mm yung hawak mo, ang issue ko ay M16, I will fire M16 against you. So hindi na tayo magkapantay sa laban. Kasi gumagamit ako ng assault rifle sa'yo as versus yung 9mm pistol mo. Talong-talo ka talaga sa akin. Pero, Gretchen, hindi naman kami pupunta sa isang police operation para magpabaril sa kanila eh. Pumunta kami doon para to incapacitate them, to neutralize them. At gusto kong malinaw na we belong to a task force, no? at and we write case operational plans for organized crime groups. Usually pumapasok kami kung hindi na nahihirapan na yung local policemen to do it. 'Di ba, may mga local policemen tayo na doing the traffic and all that. Stationary sila. They stay there. And yung mga criminals,
Specialized operations.
yung mga criminals, alam nila yung mga bahay nila, alam nila yung members of the family, and they can inflict harm sa mga ano natin, no, sa mga local policemen natin. And that's one of the reasons bakit pumapasok na yung task force or members of the national support units. Yung nga po, highway patrol, the IG, the CIDG, yan, pumapasok yung mga yan because they are from the national support units.
Okay. Why tell your story now? Sino po lumapit po ba sa inyo of course, this is done by a Davao journalist, that's Edith Caduaya, nakasama
Opo,
po natin sa
Ma'am
coverage
Edith.
natin sa KOJC. Nandito nga po siya ngayon, so very supportive. Paano po nangyari itong pelikula? Siya po ba ang lumapit o kayo po ang may gustong magkwento ng panig ninyo?
Siya po ang lumapit sa akin at parang naisahan pa nga niya ako dahil ang sabi niya, documentary lang. Tapos, no, never na na it is a docu-drama already and it will be shown sa theaters nationwide on August 13. Sabi niya, we write down your kasi there were attempts already. Like when I was in jail, nag-usap naman po kami ni Senator Bong Revilla, sina Senator Jinggoy, kasi we were there inside jail. Nag-attempt na magsulat, hindi na po natuloy. When I got out of jail, na-meet ko naman sina Mr. Res Cortez and Don Remo, mga directors. They tried to write it down. Ang dami nilang nasulat. In fact, they prepared a PowerPoint presentation already na hamper yan ng Tebes operation. And then, nung nag-resume kami to continue the project, na-hamper na naman ng Kibuloy. So, I went to Kibuloy. So, nawala na talaga yung momentum. So, nung nandun naman ako, there's this certain Edith Caduaya, very aggressive enough also, sulat. Okay, sige. Ang documentary mo naman, maybe not more than 10 minutes, I think. So, okay, sige.
But this is turning out to be 1 hour?
1 hour and 50 minutes already.
50 minutes.
Yes.
Sino pong gaganap na kayo?
Ako na.
Ay, kayo na.
Opo.
Kayo mismo.
Hindi. Mayroong younger version ng Marantan, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, that when I was,
Oo, so may mga
breathing.
reenactment tayo. At saka
Yes,
yung
they
mga
were.
nabanggit po ninyo ng mga police operation, yun po ang idedetalye nyo
Yes,
dito.
6 yung na-mention dyan na police operations.
Okay. Ano po ang nasa puso ninyo? Ano po mensahe po ninyo sa mga manonood? And what do you want the viewers to see in this documentary?
Mga kababayan kong Pilipino, ang kwento po na ito ay kwento ng buhay ko na sumisimbolo sa buhay ng maraming kapulisan who suffered the same fate na napabayaan ng state. I can say that napabayaan ng state kasi hindi naman nila kami nailaban. Kaya nga nakulong kami. Kasi the failure of one section mag-domino effect sa iba. So kami yung tinamaan. It was a good operation. Lahat yan, good operations covered by case operational plan. But in the end, nagiging villain kami lahat. Kasi politicized siya. Kaya dapat ihiwalay natin yung politicking dito sa law enforcement operations. Kasi the moment na it's covered by case operational plan po, pinirmahan na po yan ng mga magagaling na tao. Napag-aralan na yan. So, ito po ay kwento ng buhay ko pero it's not limited to me alone. Kwento po ito ng maraming kapulisan na ganito rin po ang sinapit nila.
Sa totoo lang, madalas ang mga kapulisan po natin, hindi natin naririnig, tahimik lamang. Madalas ayaw nga magsalita.
Yes.
So we are looking forward to watching this film. Saan po mapapanood?
Sa SM Theaters nationwide on August 13.
August 13 hanggang?
Well, the producer and the director can answer it better. Hindi ko, wala ho akong masyadong alam sa ano no sa specifics of the movie.
Okay, i-search na lang po natin sa likod ng tsapa.
Sa likod ng Chapa.
Tsapa, behind or beyond the badge?
Beneath the badge.
Beneath the badge.
Yes.
Beneath the badge is a policeman's story, and we will stay tuned to that kung ano po ang kwento po ninyo bilang isang ganap na pulis, Pilipinong pulis. Maraming salamat, Colonel Hansel Marantan, the name behind many big operations. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. We hope we've given you the right start to your morning. Let's go ahead and make the day and the week matter. My name is Gretchen Ho. We are One News, all sides, all the time.